matter if we take this as an example. Teachers in the top 20% of performance generate 5 to 6 more months of student learning each year than low performance teacher. As you see, the first one, high performance teacher, 1.5 years, the lower is less than a year. The impact of quality teaching endures, as Raj et al. In 2011 said. Elementary and middle school students who are taught by more effective teacher for just 1 year attend college at a higher rate by age 18. So the teaching students in early stage will give them the opportunity and give them a good step so they can build themselves from the early stage, so they can continue their school and graduate in a good age, which is 18, start their university. What we know, the quality of teacher preparation has a great impact on teachers and students. So here we talk about the preparation, how the teacher or the lecturer, the professors in the university need to prepare, the need for improve teacher preparation. As we know, 62% of new teachers say they graduated from education school unprepared for the classroom. Why? They went to the university. And the lecturers or professors, they taught them in the class, and that's it. They didn't go to class and taught the student. So when they graduate, they will see the difference between the word book, let's say, and the real life. So teachers, lecturers, they need to prepare or have the preparation to teach in the class before they graduate. Also, as you know, we are right now in COVID-19. They change everything in this life, and one of these things is education. From old school to a new school, which is technology and how to use new technology. So more and better trained teacher, especially in technology, needed this time. How to use tablets, laptops, different laptops. This will be great to improve themselves. Also, I encourage all the teachers, lecturers, professors to learn how to use meetings apps. As we hear in this wonderful conference, we use Zoom as an example, but there is other apps like Skype, Meet, WebEx, and other applications that they need to know it. Maybe they will have a problem with the application that they know, so they need to have a plan B, let's say, or they know how to use other program to meet their colleagues or their students. Also, make your lecturer more interaction and fun with that will help the student to have high grades. This by Tessia et al. 2020. So, you know, before in old school, when we teach the student, maybe we can moderate them, but now in COVID-19, and we don't have the monitor because, you know, we are teaching online. So maybe the student will feel bored, or maybe they are not focusing when with our class. So what's the solution? How we can let them focus? We need to put something in the our class to make them engage, to make them focus, to make them throw their mobile or app or sorry tablet or something. Maybe they play on at the same time that the doctors or teacher teach in the class. So there is many apps, and one of these apps is...
Hi, we're Kahoot. We're on a mission to make learning awesome. Our game-based learning platform is used by millions of people all over the world: teachers, students, company employees, and lifelong learners. Kahoot makes it easy to create fun learning games or trivia quizzes in minutes, anytime, anywhere. We call them Kahoots. It works for any subject, in any language, on any device. You can also discover and play existing games. There are millions of Kahoots in our library. Kahoot can be played in a live setting with questions on a big screen, or on your mobile device where you see questions and answers on one screen. As well as in schools, Kahoot is played in companies, at events, and even parties to make learning awesome. Sign up today at kahoot.com. Let's play.
So one of these softwares or apps is Kahoot. We can sign it free, and we can share it with the student and ask them a question and make some fun between them. Also, they learn the information that you want to send it to them or deliver it to them. Also, the information will stuck in their mind. But is this the only app to encourage the student? The answer is absolutely no. There is many other example and apps like Forms, Blickers, Socrative, Goso Books, Quizlies, and there is many other applications that will help teachers and doctors in the universities and the school to let the student engage with their class. Also, there is a new technology called VR, which is use these glasses which is called VR to see what is the for example, in the first right picture, how the student can see the earth in the front of his eye, or on the left side, let's say, how he can see the virus in front of his eye and can see how it look like closely. So this will, of course, it will help the student to know more and feel some fun and something new that they don't know it before. Also, state reporting and accountability for teacher preparation program are weak. As we know, many schools and the university let the teacher or doctors teach, but there's no monitor. They will not, they don't know if the teacher weak in some point or he is good in some point. So the weakness, they need to improve it by many things that let the weak skill that he has improved to be good. So here as an example, and second one, a classroom management practices. Let's say this teacher, he's weak in independence, so he didn't know how to manage alone. He needs someone to help him. So when I know he is he has a weakness in this point, I can let him go or let him attend workshop or conference, webinars, anything that let him improve this skill. Also, a new regulation will build on momentum in improving teacher training. So also maybe if sometime if we put a new regulation in teaching will help to improve teaching. As an example, in UK, for example, many universities, let's say maybe 90 to 90 to maybe 100% of all universities in UK, they force lecturers to have one of these certificates, starting with associate fellow, senior fellow, principal fellow, which is it's not university, let's say, certificate like a bachelor or master, PhD. No, this is a professional certificate just for teaching. And when you want to apply for a job in UK or in, I don't know about the other countries, but let's because I am coming from UK and did my master and PhD there, so I know they force the lecturer to have it, and if you want to apply for a job, you need to have these certificate. Also, to improve their skills and knowledge, they need to attend conference like this conference to know other information, other skills, and maybe other country what they do in this period or in their country. One of these conference, let's say AAA, American Accounting Association, one of the biggest conference in America. And also, let's say ITAR, which is the one that I am the founder of it. We do usually workshops, conferences, and lecture for free, also to improve the quality and the skills of teachers or lecturers, doctors around the world. In the end, thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate your time and thank you for the attendance to watch my webinar or presentation. Thank you so much.
No question of it.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed Al-Khatami. It's really inspiring. You are founder of ITAR Group Quiet, and it's a kind annual especially for teacher and lecturer. Is that correct, Dr.
Sorry,
Ahmed Al-Khatan?
sorry, your voice is not clear. I didn't understand what you said, or I didn't listen.
Hello, Doctor, you hear my voice?
Yes.
Really?
Not that clear, but yes, I can hear you.
Speak up there.
Okay, now it's better.
Okay.
Louder.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. It's really inspiring, Dr. Ahmad Al-Khatan. You hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, dear participant, if you have a question, please directly ask Dr. Ahmed Al-Khatan. Yeah, it's really inspiring presentation. He is the founder of ITAR Group Quiet. Yeah. And then annually meeting, especially for teacher and lecturer. Is that correct?
Yes, you are right.
And how long established this kind of ITAR?
Sorry, again, how long?
How
It's,
long ITAR established?
Now maybe 5 months, and we have a weekly webinars. Tomorrow we have a webinar as well about about how to overcome psychology pressure by Dr. Nadia Al-Khaldi. Also in 26, I invite everyone here. We have the biggest conference just for accounting international will be in Kuwait via Zoom as well.
Oh, I see. We can't wait. It's only for accounting, yeah, accounting.
Yes, the conference will be for accounting. Yes, specialists.
The topic is about accounting.
Correct.
Once again, I invite the participant to ask directly to Dr. Ahmed Al-Khattan about Kahoot or another game, fun game. Yeah. Maybe Bu Siti Mariam have a special question for him. Bu
Sure.
Siti Mariam expertise in assessment.
I put in the
of fun
chat.
game.
I put in the chat the invitation for anyone want to come to or join the accounting conference if he is a specialist in accounting.
Thank you very much. You are really kind. You directly to write on the chat box. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bu Mariam, you have a question, right? To ask him directly. Directly, it's okay. Directly.
Okay, no worries. You any question? I just put my all my accounts. If anyone have any question, I am happy to answer any question. I will also put all my accounts in chat. So anyone want to ask me any question regarding my presentation, webinars, ETAR, or the conference, I am happy to answer it at any time. Thank you so much, and thank you to having me today, and have a good day.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, give applause for Dr. Ahmed Al-Khattan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, reaction bisa. Okay, we next we invite the second speaker. This one, right? So yeah, this one. Okay. Are you ready, Dr. Abdul Qadir Mahluf? Ada kok. Tadi ini beliau siap bilangnya Abdul Qadir.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Dr. Abdul Qadir Mahluf, ready to present?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me just first check my PowerPoint.
Okay, please, could you please share your PowerPoint?
Okay, let me check it first. Is it visible? Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Is it in full form?
Could you please make it full? Dr. Abdul Qadir.
Not?
Full screen, yeah. Full screen.
Yeah. Slideshow.
Could you please turn on your slideshow? Dr. Abdul Qadir.
Yes, please. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. It's better. It's better. Okay. Time is yours.
Tak apa-apa.
Yes, please. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, let me check.
Tak apa-apa jaringan dia.
Yes, please. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear your voice.
Okay. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, salatu salam ala rasulillah. Bishrah li sadri, yassir li amri, wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. This is me, Dr. Abdel Kader Mahlouf from Algeria. I'm very delighted and excited to participate in this virtual international conference on education in the era post-COVID-19 pandemic, organized by Walinsongo State Islamic University, Indonesia. And my presentation, my topic, is entitled Students' Awareness Level in Preparing and Performing Their Presentation. Well, it might be very helpful to start talking about presentations as very important in the university studies. And we might begin by calling attention that there are two important points in presentation. The first one is preparation. The second one is performance or deliverance. And we can also talk broadly about presentation. It's very essential to give importance to presentation skills as a fundamental piece in university studies and teach students the basic skills of presentation. And in fact, there is more to say about communication in terms of how to convey a meaningful message. There is and it's very likely to happen in classroom setting if we combine the very linguistic skills, grammar, vocabulary, listening, and speaking activities with speech skills. So sometimes before, going on to the other and following slides, I will just to focus more about presentations in general, okay? So it's very important to combine in the classroom setting the linguistic skills, vocabulary, grammar, listening, etc., with some basic skills that are related to presentation, okay? So we have some examples like delivery, how to deliver your presentation, how to do your presentation using visuals, etc. So in general, teaching presentation skills also requires from a teacher to teach his students how to structure their presentation, starting from introduction, body, and conclusion with appropriate transitions. Moving from one side to another side using the appropriate transitions. The linguistic transitions. And also we need to talk about, how a good presentation requires from students at university level to make and use a variety of visuals to enrich their presentations. Then it is particularly useful to develop student presentation skills if they are likely to go on to research so that they can give effective presentations. Now, let me move directly to the body of my presentation. So we talked about two ingredients. We say that presentation has two important sides, preparation and and delivery. Now, I want just to focus on another point, which is self-efficacy. As you see here, Bandura, 1997, he defined self-efficacy, and he used it to describe the belief about executing any task, the personal belief about one's abilities. That is to say, the beliefs about one's capabilities to learn or perform. Okay, so in here we have 4 points: motivation, self-confidence, past achievements, and future goals. And students' awareness level. However, the level of students' awareness about their preparation and performance in their presentations to a large extent can be and we said that normally it's that own capacity and belief of the students also we need to conceive presentations from a psychological construct. I mean, we need to have, let's say, presentation skills, preparation and performance, but the let's say the intersection here, we have certain psychological construct. I mean, students, they need to be aware more about their presentations. They need to have self-evaluation, okay, about their presentations. Now, in terms of the PS, we have 2 sides: preparation and we have performance. Concerning preparation, we have certain points that are related to the audience: planning your presentation, prepare answers to anticipate questions, careful preparation of visual aids, and rehearsal, which means repetition. Concerning the performance, we have verbal message plus physical message. So that is to say that students, they need to know in advance these skills in terms of preparation and performance. And it is also very important with our study to talk about certain objectives. So the present research attempts to determine the EFL students' awareness level of self-evaluation presentation skills, mainly preparation and performance. This is the study was conducted in my university, Dr. Moulay Tahir Saida University. And at the heart of my work, there is a need to ask the following question: how well are the first year EFL master students aware about their presentation skills? There are some questions. The first one is, what is the students' awareness level in preparing and performing their presentations? The second one is there a significant difference between the male and female students in their awareness level in preparing and performing their presentations? Now, this is because, the study focused also on making a difference about the female and male students, whether there is a difference between their level of awareness about these skills, or are they the same? Now, the third question, is there a significant difference in the students' awareness level in preparing and performing, and performing their presentations between the 2 classes in the two different academic years study, 2018, 2019, and 2019 and 2020. That is to say that, the researcher was, let's say, interested also to make a difference between 2 promotions, the previous promotion and the one before, whether these students, they have the same level of awareness about their presentation skills or not, so that in the future the researcher would like to make some suggestions and recommendations. Now, concerning the research hypothesis, since the researcher relied mostly on the SPSS statistics, there were some hypotheses. The first one is the students' awareness level in preparing and performing the presentations is above average. Is it above average or low average? So we suppose that their level of awareness is above average. Now, the second one is there is a significant difference between the male and female students in their awareness level in preparing and performing their presentations. The third one is there is a significant difference in the students' awareness level in preparing and performing their presentations between the two classes in the two different academic years, 2018, 2019, and the following year. Now, concerning the subjects and design, there were two first-year master EFL students who formed the population of my study. The students belong to two different classes, as we have already mentioned. And the researcher also relied on a questionnaire, an English language students questionnaires, based on 5-point Likert scale, ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And it was designed to survey the students' awareness level in preparing and performing their presentations. There were also some statistical analysis SPSS techniques. And the percentages and means were calculated for the questionnaires. The findings of the questionnaires are described, narrated, and illustrated in methodology. There were, kind of quantitative research methods. This is basically presentation skills questionnaire consisting of 19 items, questions, that were used based on Mendel 2000. And now, also, as we said, there were 7 study the previous year and the one before. Now, it is very important also to say that, that the questionnaire was, reliable enough. We could constate that the Cronbach alpha was good enough, more than 70%. Okay, so that means that the questionnaire is valid. Concerning the results of my study, we could assure that the students' awareness level in preparing and performing their presentation is managed to calculate this average using kind of interval, ranging from agreement, the degree of agreement was ranging from strongly disagree, neutral, agree strongly. So based on this interval, we could calculate certain percentages. Then after that, we depended on some equations, and we level of awareness of 50 hypothesis, whether there is a significant difference between the male and female students in their awareness level of in preparing and performing their presentations. So this table, let me see, indicates the heterogeneity in gender. It is noticed through the table that there is a statistic significance. Okay, so there were, let me check it, please. Yeah. So there were no difference. That means that the male and female students, they had the same level of awareness with no difference. Okay, the following slide. So concerning the third hypothesis, whether there is a difference between the level of the students' awareness in preparing and performing their presentations between the two promotions. It wasn't the same class. There were two classes. So it was concluded that there was no significant difference in the students' awareness level in preparing and performing their presentations between the two classes in the two different academic years. So it was almost the same level between the two promotions. Now, concerning the conclusions, there were some recommendations. So for students to be more effective presenters, it is useful to examine their presentation skills based on students' awareness level in preparing and performing their presentation. It is possible to determine the various areas in which they can focus to increase their abilities in presentation skills. Now, as a final conclusion, finally, this research contributes in predicting the master EFL students' level in preparing and performing their presentations. The results of the study showed that the students' awareness level in preparing and performing their presentations is above average. So these results imply the necessity of helping the student to recognize his inner abilities. So this is to say that when we are able to recognize the students' level, whether they are aware about the level of presentation in terms of preparation and deliverance or performance, this would help the students to recognize his inner abilities and to discover his talents and enhance his skills. This also requires the students to identify areas he should try to improve in order to reconstruct himself and arrange his priorities in the field of presentation skills. And in relation to this, tied up to this, is self-efficacy, where students need to hold positive beliefs, attitudes, evaluations about their learning abilities so that they can improve their presentation skills. And thank you very much. Any questions, you're welcome. Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you. Are there some questions? You're welcome. Can you hear me, please?
laptop ka na bagus ko. Pinta ini. Laptop. Ini tuh biasa na apa sih mau laptop kalau Zoom lo. kasih di bukunya tuh asal sudah nasi screenshot.
Apa tuh?
There.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Gimana? No. Sorry. Oh, Abdul. Okay, thank you, Dr. Abdul Qadir Makluf.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice presentations. And let me check to the chat box, but there is no question for you. Yeah, so I think if we have better to ask you, yeah, something very curious for me to ask you. What is the differences between male presentation and female presentations? Prof. Sharif.
Yeah. You know, this is.
No.
Yeah. You know, this is.
Yeah.
I mean, when we say.
Abdul Qadir.
Okay, thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
when we talked about the difference between the male and female differences in terms of their presentations, this is purely, I mean, this needs to be based on a real research. I mean, as I did in my university, there were no, let's say, big differences. There were no big differences. Although some previous studies, they showed that the female in general, they are more competent in terms of linguistic baggage repertoire. They have such abilities to talk, let's say, competitively, a great competence. Their vocabulary is well funded, good and strong vocabulary. However, we cannot be assured enough unless we conduct a given real research. So a teacher may notice sometimes that female students, they are good enough in their performance. Maybe this is because of their linguistic capacity in terms of vocabulary. Okay, so they are good enough. However, there are some areas that should be investigated. When we talked about, let's say, performance, we need to know how well students are able to, let's say, to have strong posture, eye contact, okay, in terms of physical message, in terms of verbal message. So these are some criteria should be, let's say, taken into consideration. So to say whether female or male, who is better, we are not sure unless we have, let's say, a real research. You can make a difference between some female and some male students. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? What do you suppose? I mean, for you, what do you suppose if we want to? I mean, to check your, your conception towards this question. What do you suggest? You? I'm asking you.
Well, once again, Dr. Abdul Qadir. Yeah, my question is, what about the differences on their self-efficacy between male students and female students? Self-efficacy.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah, based on your research finding.
When we talk about just to make it clear for the audience. Huh? Yes, again, please.
No, I mean
maybe. Look, when we talked about self-efficacy, yes, I mean it is that that belief about executing any task. I mean, whether a person has certain strong beliefs about his own abilities, I mean, his own capacities. So we can measure this taking into consideration whether a person is self-confident, whether he has certain positive beliefs about his own capabilities to perform something. So we can put it here in the same line. I mean, use it for the presentation. So to say that male or female students, which one or who is the better. So it's kind of personal issue. Okay, we cannot really be sure. Mhm. That depends. Look, that depends on a person's degree of motivation and his own, let's say, confidence. It's a personal issue to some extent.
Did the students use PowerPoint presentations during conducting data collection?
Yeah, okay. Actually, this is what a teacher needs to teach his students. It's not only about the linguistic, let's say, performance. It's about visuals, how to share your, let's say, your slides, in terms of, let's say, graphs, in terms of bars, etc. So it's better to teach your students how to present your, let's say, your PowerPoint, let's say, presentation, how to organize your speech. Let's say if you want to, I mean, to talk about a given topic, you need to know how to start talking about the introduction, then moving to the body, then moving finally to your conclusion, and giving a chance for your audience to gather the most of your speech. I mean, concentrating more on the, let's say, the substance, the very important point of your speech. So the one who speaks, whether a teacher or a speaker or a student, need to know how to focus on the major points of his talk. So this is very important for a teacher to give a chance for his students to learn more about how to present their projects, etc. Thank you. Another question, maybe?
Well, there is still one
One
question
question
Yes.
from
Dr.
Dr.
Josie.
Josie.
Could
Could
you
you
please
please
ask
ask
directly
directly
to
to
Dr.
Dr.
Abdul
Abdul
Kadir
Kadir
Mahmud,
Mahmud,
please?
please?
Dr. Josie.
Dr. Josie.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Professor. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Congratulations for the wonderful presentation. I love the presentation, the way you presented these all ideas. A little bit confusion I have on the title and the hypothesis. My first question is your research qualitative or quantitative or mixed method? First thing. And if it is quantitative, then how did you measure those all things based on observation in these all? And if it is not quantitative, then what is the reason behind keeping the hypothesis in that? Because the qualitative research doesn't take hypothesis. So may I get clarification, sir?
Yeah. You know, basically the let's say the topic was based mostly on quantitative research. As I mentioned before, we could manage to conduct our research based on a questionnaire. We gather some items that are related to two axes. The first axis is preparation, the second one is performance. So it was purely quantitative. It wasn't that mixed approach based on, let's say percentages, portions, and no, it was purely quantitative. So we could measure that level of performance, I mean, the level of their awareness, okay, maybe it is somehow confusing when we talk about awareness. What exactly awareness? Is it really important to measure their level of awareness? How, I mean, how useful, what is the benefit behind using or trying to measure their awareness? Look, awareness, this is to help the researcher himself, I mean, to prioritize some weaknesses, to understand the weaknesses behind the student's awareness. If we are really sure about that level of the students' awareness about their presentations, now we can later manage to identify the weak point from the strong point, so that later we can, let's say, as a teacher, we can teach them how to overcome their weaknesses, even it's, let's say, conceptual, even if it's cognitive, but this would be, let's say, practical later. I mean, sometimes even the student, they are not aware about even how to present. So let's give them chance to know, to identify whether they know or not about these areas of presentation, so that later both of you, as a teacher and students, you will be able to know and to recognize those good and weak areas. So again, to talk about the, let's say, the method of the research, it was somehow, I'm purely saying it was quantitative, because we could use questionnaire with items, with percentages, with, let's say, some techniques of SPSS. I'm not sure
Thank you.
whether.
I will have debate with you, but personally, we will be in touch from social side, and we'll talk about this matter again, time and again.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for the nice question, Dr. Joshi. Well, give applause for Dr. Abdul Kadir Makhlouf. Okay, well, thank you very much for an interesting talk, Dr. Abdul Kadir Makhlouf, talking about
Thank you.
the student
You're welcome.
awareness in a presentation skill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, we are going to the next speaker. Okay, let's invite the third speaker, Dr. Haruna Abu Bakar from State Universal Basic Education Board, Jigawa State, Nigeria. Okay, the floor is yours. Could you please share your PowerPoint? Dr. Wait a minute. Dr. Abu Bakar. Yeah. Okay. We can't hear your voice, Dr. Abu Bakar. Perhaps something happened with your this one headset. Dear participant, can you hear Dr. Abu Bakar? Just a little, just we hear your voice only a little. Would you please speak louder, or you put off your? It's just a little bit. about your headset, Dr. Abu Bakar? Excuse me, Dr. Abu Bakar. We can't hear your voice. I'm so sorry.
Maybe the connection.
Or maybe the connection?
Maybe about mic, Miss.
Could you please closer with your... Yeah, I can see
There is-
your PowerPoint, yeah. Your PowerPoint. But no sound, no
Yes,
voice.
yes. The voice too low.
Hello, Dr. Abu Bakar. Yeah, we can't hear the voice, not only me, the participant also cannot hear your voice.
I guess there is something wrong in the device mic.
Uh, so, no. Suruh dicopot aja. Anunya. Put off the headset. Put off the headset. Dr. Abu Bakar, could you please turn on your video? We can hear your voice, or you may put off your headset.
Benar dia.
Yeah. Yes. The voice is too slow, Mister. I think there is something wrong in your device, your phone mic.
Or connection internet, yeah, or
Yes.
internet connection also. Could you put off your headset?
Assalamualaikum.
Yeah, Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Yeah, it's
wabarakatuh.
really clear, Dr. Abu Bakar. Finally,
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah,
Yeah,
please go
Alhamdulillah.
ahead. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
That's the solution
Okay.
to put off your headset, right?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Go ahead, Dr. Abu Bakar, please.
Okay, let me start sharing the screen.
Yeah.
Can I share the screen now?
Sure.
Okay.
We did it.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Let me share the screen. Okay. Okay, you can see now.
Yes, yes, we can see.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Dr. Abu Bakar.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Present here today, this very great day. As you can see, my topic is the techniques of teaching Arabic literature in Imam Hassan schools, Captain Hausa, LGA, Jigawa State, Nigeria. So we can start with introduction. The goal of learning a language is to communicate, whether it is peaceful, understand, and express oneself clearly, and to achieve advanced language proficiency and skills. Because language is a vessel of any culture, and the literature is a pillar of the languages, and also the mirror of society. In this paper, we concentrate on techniques and the method of teaching Arabic literature. This method may. So this paper contains three major points. After introduction, the history of Arabic education in northern Nigeria and the teaching Arabic for non-Arabic speakers, and also the method of teaching Arabic literature, classical method and the new method. Okay, let us start with the history of Arabic education in northern Nigeria. The history of Arabic education in Nigeria returning to the commercial link between the Arabs and the people of West Africa. This is the foundation stone of Arabic language in West Africa in general, and in northern Nigeria in particular. The relationship between North and West African kingdoms like Ghana, Gao, and Timbuktu. Others were Kanim Borno, Kano, and Kasna. Therefore, the beginning of Arabic literacy in northern Nigeria is traceable when Islam reached the country in 11th century through the regular contact of Arab scholars from Sudan, Turkey, and Morocco. So we can see that in Nigeria, especially in northern regime, anybody that embraces Islam has to learn Arabic for religious factor, and also for well understanding the basis of language as the only literacy in Nigeria by that time. Then teaching Arabic for non-Arabic speakers. Why we drag teaching Arabic for non-Arabic speakers to this topic? Because we are going to teach Arabic literature, and we are not Arabic speakers. That is why we use this topic. So teaching Arabic for non-Arabic speakers. Regarding teaching Arabic for non-Arabic speakers, we must know that teaching Arabic to non-Arabic speakers is quite different from teaching it to native speakers. So we must concentrate on techniques and the methods. This method may work in teaching any language to native speakers. In any learning system, language and the method come first. Why? Because there is a study published in 2012. Researchers found that language center in the brain grow substantially as a result of successful language learning. So intellectual and mental abilities, including understanding, connectivity and analysis, and problem solving, seem to depend on the student linguistic ability. So this is what the researchers said. The preferred way to teach Arabic to native speakers should be based on 4 skills, according to American Council for Teaching the Foreign Language. First of this skill is listening, reading, speaking, then writing. So these 4 skills are similar to those tested in the test of English as foreign language to evaluate the proficiency in English language for non-native speakers. The test look at how language users combine these 4 skills to perform academic tasks. So now we are moving to the method of teaching Arabic literature, classical and in new pandemic era. The language is a basal of any culture, and the literature is a pillar of the languages and the mirrors of the society. As the world today living in a stage of extreme disturbance of COVID-19, we have to require sophisticated methodologies and the policies to face such challenges in teaching Arabic literature with its main 3 branches. So we have 3 branches if we are going to teach Arabic literature. One of it is prose, contain novels and short stories, then poetry, then drama. Drama is a literature represented through performance. Then we will use one of the approach of teaching Arabic literature. The approach is a historical approach. Most of schools and institutions prefer historical methodology in teaching Arabic literature. Why? Because the theory depends on teaching literature based on period serially. This methodology is يعني نقول المنهج التاريخي في تدريس الأدب العربي أو دراسات المتقدمة. Our method, or this method, care about socio-economic, individual differences, level of the students, syllabus, and the targeted book or text book that we are using for teaching. So the individual differences, socio-economic, these things we list now, we must consider it because as a Dr. Abdurrahman Al-Fawdan said, many of those who are interested in spread of Arabic language had neglected many of these fundamental differences for a long time. They were and they still send the book we use in our Arab countries to teach Arabic for native speakers to be taught in the non-Arab countries that request our help in teaching Arabic in their schools, which is not true at all. So he's trying to say that we must use different teaching methods and the approach and the methodologies based on country. We can't take, for example, the syllabus we are teaching in Nigeria, for example, to come and teach it in Indonesia. We can't. Or we use the syllabus of Kuwait to teach in Ghana. So this is what he is trying to tell us. Then we will take some steps in teaching Arabic literature. This step is based on Imam Hassan School's curriculum and the syllabus. Here are some important steps and the method in teaching Arabic literature. So after lesson plan and the classroom setting and the student settings, so we are going to direct you to the objectives. These objectives contain the long-term target and the short-term. So we just use the main aim and objectives. The main aim and objectives of teaching literature is to achieve advanced language proficiency and skills. Then the next step of teaching Arabic literature in Imam Hassan schools is the concept about the text. For example, we are going to teach the poetry or prose, novels, drama. So we should give a concept, full concept about the details of drama or prose or poetry. Then we are moving to the next skill is reading the text. then vocabulary. So by reading the text, student will listen to you, and you as a teacher, you are reading the passage for comprehension. Then we are going to explain the vocabulary, because even if you are teaching English or Chinese or any other language to native speakers, you must explain some of vocabularies. Yeah, and we as non-Arabic speakers, we must explain very, very well the vocabularies. Yeah, then general idea about the text. For example, we must give the general idea about the text, or يعني الخلفية عامة عن النص، فكرة عامة عن مضمون النص. هذا هو ما يعني. For example, if you are going to teach poetry, you must give the concept about the poet. مثلا حياة الشاعر، دوره، مكانته, and so. Then for us, novels, if you are teaching the novels, for example, you take a novel as a topic, you must give a concept about the characters in this novel, and also a story. The story, which story content. مثلا ماذا يعني عن ماذا يتحدث الرواية مثلا. Then drama. If you are teaching drama, you must give the concept about the actor or actress and their role in drama. So now we are moving to the deep explanation about system of the contact and the features. So this skill, we can drag one more approach inside this, or two. So now we are going to drag into this, we can drag the demonstration method, deep explanation about system of the contact and the features, demonstration method, and also we can use a body language. For example, if you must to build or explain comparison in this text or comprehensive emotions, you must use body language to express such things. For example, happiness, sympathy, love, sadness. If you are teaching the student a novel of ألف ليلة وليلة مثلا، إذا كان مكان الحزن تظهر حزن. For example, you must express, if you are the actor is very active and is performing, you must rebuild this. So then we are moving to the homework. After you finish all this, we are giving the student homework, assignment, and sometimes exercise. تدريبات لغوية وتدريبات تحليل النصوص, which you call the exercise, ماذا نسميها بالعربي هذا؟ تدريبات ومهارة تحليل النصوص, the text analysis. So practice only in weekly drama and watching Arabic films. So if we have the cultural club, and we are performing drama weekly, so practice will be in watching Arabic films. We are goofing and watching Arabic films. Then, so in this pandemic era, we must use our experience, skills, and knowledge to improve our methodology. Therefore, we have to learn from experience and the practice instead of relying on classical theories. That is why we combine both two methods in Imam Hassan schools. Now we are using blended learning. So here are some important points we are using now. Imam Hassan schools trial on blended learning range on WhatsApp group, we form WhatsApp group and the Telegram group. We uploaded all lectures and the materials. So anytime, anywhere, student can access these materials. Then watching Arabic films in group. We have Yani with Thaqafi, and we are watching films in group. Sometimes I'm participating. Then forming online classes via Zoom, watching lectures on YouTube, and filling assessment form. This for students who absent on Zoom. Then listening to the boys' lecture through WhatsApp group and the presentation of assignment at the classroom. So if the student didn't attend the Zoom classes, then she will listen to the audio voice of lecture. Then she will write something, not less than 2 papers or three to 3 papers, and come and present in front of us and his colleague. Then we are forming a private lesson in language and practicing for students, such as interviews, medical visit, and if you, for example, if you are a motor fac, how to communicate. So this is a part of our recent approach. Then monthly inter-school competition, we have to organize. We are always organizing this monthly by inviting schools, or we can go to their school, or we should invite another school to come and perform this competition. Then we are moving to the conclusion and recommendation. In this pandemic era, we have to look into new methods and the techniques of teaching, curriculum development, updating syllabus, incorporate internet technology enhancement to promote learning across the curriculum, especially for listening and reading, because the skill of listening and reading is the most important. Then necessity of blended learning or partnership with other schools in teaching Arabic language through video conferences like a Cisco initiative and the SEU, Saudi Electronic University. And the Saudi Electronic University also developed the Arabic program for teaching Arabic to non-Arabic speakers. So this university has up to now concluded many services, about 54 contracts with the many universities and the interested institutions from all over the world on use of this program. So by now, the management of Imam Hassan School is working to be one of the beneficiaries of this program. So thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, Dr. Abu Bakar, thank you very much for an interesting talk, teaching method Arabic. Well, Dr. Abu Bakar, can you hear my voice?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, let me read a question directly for you from Ibu Dr. Siti Mariam. Yeah, she asked, is Arabic first or second language there in Nigeria? Could you please answer directly, Dr. Abu Bakar?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not a second language. I'm sorry, Arabic is not a second language in Nigeria.
Or the first language?
Yeah.
So it must use every day. Arabic must use every day in this school.
No, it's not necessary. You can just take the Arabic language and
Okay. Once more. Can you repeat the answer, Dr. Abu Bakar?
No.
Huh?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. Dr. Siti Mariam asked you a question. Is Arabic, is Arabic as a first or second language? Hello, could you put off your headset? You just speak directly in order that your voice can catch clearly. Dr. Abu Bakar, yeah, it's better.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
The first or second language, Arabic in your country?
Yeah, Arabic is not a second language. Our official language is English language, and the second language is Hausa language. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for your question. Okay, give applause for Dr. Abu Bakar. Really interesting topic.
Okay. Any more question?
Huh?
Any more question?
Is there any more? One question?
Yeah.
To dear participant. Hello? If there is no question, we go to the next presenter, the next speaker, invited speaker.
Yeah, he said in Arabic language. Okay.
Oh, I see. Hello, if you want to ask question, please
let him
say in
speak
Arabic.
in Arabic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
said in
only know,
Arabic. One of the participants write the question. He said he's going to ask the question in Arabic. So I said, okay, let him ask his question in Arabic. Inshallah. So فأجيب عليه باللغة العربية إن شاء الله. نعم.
Inshallah. My son will.
Okay. So thank you so much for giving me this chance to present. Thank you. Have a good night day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abu Bakar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, give applause.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah, very nice presentation, Dr. Abu Bakar. Okay, we are going to
thank you so much.
next. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, invite to the next invited speaker. It's also have an interesting topic.
Gina, baby.
We'll talk about enjoyable method in English learning. Okay, we invite Mrs. Asma Al Mustafa from Ministry of Education and Higher Education Palestine. Okay, Mrs. Asma Al Mustafa, floor is yours. Hello, Mrs. Asma. I can hear your voice. Mrs. Asma is
like this. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is it okay? Okay. So the problem was in the headphone. Okay. I said good morning from Palestine, warm regards and appreciation for the 12th International Conference. I'd like to thank Al Ashariya University for this great invitation, and I'm so proudly presenting my country, Palestine, in this international conference. And thank you, moderator. Thank you, my colleagues, for your lovely presentations. Actually, I'm so proud to be among you here, and I'd like to speak about enjoyable methods in teaching English before pandemic and before COVID-19 pandemic, and still in process. We are dealing as teachers of English. We are dealing with those methods, and I think I'm going to share my screen. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm using my cell phone. Okay. I'm going to open my website because my presentation is there. Yeah. Okay. I'm a teacher of English at the Ministry of Education, Gaza in Palestine, and I'm going to speak about enjoyable learning in teaching English. Of course, I'm used to teaching. I used to teach English by gaming strategy, and I have my own book. I'm the author of my 45 gaming strategies for teaching English as a foreign language. I teach English by short stories, by songs, by educational journeys around the world, online connection with other classrooms all over the world. My global project in developing global citizenship. Technology in education. I used to activate technology in education, MarchCube, Wakelet, platform, Skype, Zoom, YouTube, Toontastic program, and many other gamification applications, academic researches, and remote learning before pandemic. This made it easier for me to activate electronic learning inside the smart classrooms while the pandemic time. My vision was it's important to deviate from the traditional methods in the classroom and teaching English to the word of making minds by providing high quality education based on diversity in active learning strategies by gaming, songs, short stories, drama, and technology. My message is I usually seek to building critical thinking learner capable of assuming responsibility in the future through a creative way capable of solving problems, serious in learning, keeping pace with the enormous technological development surrounding him or her, able to break the siege imposed on him or her, especially when we talk about Gaza Strip. It is under the siege since 2005 till now. Bringing the homeland towards a better future for Palestine. My educational objectives are too many. I would like to read the most significant ones. The first one is to develop the educational process through improving the level of conveying the idea to the students, to the student in a new effective way. Number two, to improve my students' performance inside and outside the classrooms. Number three, to develop the accuracy of students' pronunciation of English words, of course, by practice. Number four, to develop the learners' writing skills, especially creative writing among the distinguished ones. Number five, to develop my learners' speaking skills and breaking the shyness and fear of making mistakes. Number six, to encourage my students to express him or herself opinion, to enhance and the freedom of opinion and expressions of the learners. Seven, to support communication skills with the others, especially with the world outside, just like what is happening with the students in Indonesia, Pakistan, India, and I have visited about 35 countries with my students through Skype and Zoom to train my learners on the optimal use of technology and self-learning. Number nine, to open new horizons for scientific researches for my students. Number nine, to organize cooperative work within the classroom. 10, to enhance emotional discharge of students inside and outside the classroom caused by this siege, and to promote the values of cooperation, to enhance the values of belonging to the educational facility among the students, to use the environment materials well to in creating some educational tools and to open the purpose, the perspectives of the aspiration of students towards his or her future. Generally, I have targeted three main areas. The first was my students, the second, my colleagues, teachers, the third was the curriculum. Students, I worked hard to develop my students' abilities in the English language skills in so many different ways. Games, virtual journeys, songs, short stories, remote learning, technology and teaching English. And this is my education, my first educational book, my 45 gaming strategy, my 45 innovative gaming strategies of teaching English as a foreign language. It contains 45, some of them strategies. Some of them are innovated, about 37 innovated, and the rest are not innovated. They are repeated or developed from the others' strategies so that we could develop our learners And as I mentioned before, to achieve my objectives, I have mentioned before, this is water the tree strategy, one of the most important strategies, which mainly focuses on developing the learner's writing abilities to write. I distribute some green papers among the learners, and I paint a tree without leaves. They should write the sentences. For example, when I want to explain the present simple, they are going to write a sentence in their present simple in groups, of course, just like what it appears in the picture. And then they are going to paste the leaf, read the sentence. By this way, they make interactive learning. One of the strategies is called the chairs and acting out, realia, playing cards. I used to bring the real material inside the classroom, just like what is appear in the picture: glasses, number 2, straight hair, backpack, curly, and so on. Cut and color strategies, words and pictures games, just like what is happening, what it appears in the pictures. I used to bring colorful papers, and my students interact with those papers in order to make some educational task, or an activity, a proper activity in for example, a grammar lesson, writing lesson, speaking lesson, etc. And realia, this is in the health, in the day of health, the global health. They bring some healthy food, and we explain the lesson by realia. This is the television strategy, a very small layout designed by my students. Looks like a TV screen. They used to speak very courage, and in a very amazing way, just as they imagine themselves, as if they are making a TV show. So this develops their speaking abilities, realia, and telling stories game. I ask one student to start, or I start usually by saying, once upon a time there was, for example, a boy walking in the street. Then, and my students, according to their chairs, they're sitting in chairs, one gives the other an expected sentence happened with this boy. For example, this encourages the students to speak. Realia and puzzle pictures. As you see in the picture, I used to buy some cards from the lesson, from the new lesson words, and I cut them by the scissors into small pieces. I ask my students to make them back, to try rearrange them, and then to conclude what is this, to guess what is this. What is, in the picture also appears a very small box containing, small sheets, colored sheets, actually, with the alphabets, repeated alphabets. Actually, there are more than 500 pieces of alphabet sheets. And I distribute these sheets among my students and in groups, and they start making some new words or any word they know. This encourages my students to, make words, to make then to make sentences. As you see in other pictures, the blindfold game and the pictures puzzle, the same thing here. I usually cut the picture into pieces, and then they start making them together. The wristband strategy, I created this, I have innovated this strategy to make a wristband after they write a sentence from their own. They will love the wristband, and they will keep looking at it all the day. So they will have it in mind for a very long time. realia and real practice inside the classroom. I usually ask my students to play the games together or to make some practical activities inside the classroom, just like when we talk about the spaghetti. In one of our lessons was how to make Italian food. So we brought the ingredients from house, and then we made it together inside the classroom, learning outside the classroom and performing some activities related to a Palestinian mini museum of culture. All those activities happened inside my classroom. I changed the traditional classroom into a very interactive area, a very amazing place, so that my students may love English and may interact freely with the activities. The step game, I ask my students to stand back to the classroom, and the one who answers a question should move a step forward. The winner is the one who is coming first. The puppets, I always use the puppets inside the classroom so that I could provide my students with the funny games and funny weathers. Funny cards match meaning games, just like what is happening, what is appearing in the picture. I used to cut the colors, the colorful papers into amazing shapes so that my students will love it. The builder game, water the tree game, another thing, just like to the right of the picture. This is a competition between the two teams. I distribute the boxes of alphabets in between them, and then I ask them to make some new words. The winner, the winner team is the one who made you know as more new words. Hot and cold game in the school garden. The pizza box. This is a box of just like in the shape of pizza. My students should drop a card and then answer the question or pronounce the word or use the word in a meaningful sentence. I usually take my students outside the classroom in the school's garden, and we play some games, of course, related to our subject. This is the clever frog game. I ask my students to pronounce the word on the leaf and start jumping from one leaf to another, from one leaf to another, so that the frog could, you know, pass the river. This is playing card games, just like the playing cards game. You know, everybody knows playing cards, but we changed it into a game which is mainly focusing on teaching new words of English. You drop a card and then you pronounce the word. This is Realia Strategy Table Manners lesson. I ask my students to bring the food from the houses, and then we all together learned how the table manners are and what they are. And this picture, this is the telephone game. I used to whisper in my students' ear a new word or a sentence, and then the sentence passes from one student to another. We may laugh at the end of the game because the students are not accurate in, you know, learning new words. This teaches them actually how to be accurate in making or in speaking. English classes for sons in education. I have joined the global project from the United States of America and Japan, the Word Peace Song. I composed the Arabic lyrics according to the instructions, and we sang both Arabic. As a result, Palestine has been recognized with a peace dove on Google Earth map, flying from our school in particular. 25 students of mine have received their certificates from Japan. My students and I also have received the certificates from Japan. We participated in the Ministry of Education ceremony of Hands Up project with an amazing song called One Vision, One Word. This song taught my students how to deal with other students from outside their country, that we are united together. This is one word, and we have one vision as people. Also, another song called I Believe I Can Fly. It's a very, very amazing song you can teach for your students. It is mainly focusing on how to develop your skills, how to believe in yourself, etc. And some other educational songs related to the topic. This is the project of Word Peace song. This is some pictures from the training in the school garden. Those are my lovely students. This is the Google Map Earth, you know, assigned Gaza Strip, and in particular, my school has assigned with the dove symbol. This is One Vision, One Word song. This is I Believe I Can Fly song. This is One Word song. This is musical instrument song. Teach English by short stories. I joined the Hands Up project from London, which provided me with two storytellers, Mrs. Dragisa from North Macedonia and Mrs. Elma from Bosnia, who told my students online so many short stories via Zoom or Skype, about 10 stories in 2 months. The Stone Soap, The Rainbow Fish, The Clever Prince, something else, The Old Tree, and many others, which mainly suit their age. I have selected 23 short stories suitable for my students' age also, and put them in a book. This book has been given for all members of English Club I have created at the beginning of the year. I take my students to the school's garden once a week and tell them a story. And the next day, they bring me the responses. This is the book containing 23 amazing stories with great morals at the English Club activities. It's recommended for teachers of English all over the world to start teaching by short stories. Online short stories telling, you know, those pictures have been taken from the Hands Up project. Also, Hands Up project, short stories, all those pictures are for short stories. Remote learning before COVID-19 pandemic, my virtual classes. As I'm a member of Microsoft Education community, I connected my classrooms with 35 different classrooms from 35 different countries all over the world. We played Skype Mysteries, a mystery game which is mainly connected concerns of developing my students' abilities in speaking English. The game starts by asking yes or no questions from both classes to the meeting in turns. I make my 40 students in groups in 6 in each, having a map in front of them. By asking and answering, they are able to identify exactly where are those peers from and where do they locate on the map. After that, we exchange asking and answering questions about cultures to know more about those people. And I have visited once Indonesia with a very amazing teacher. I think her name was Sophie, I think, if I'm not, you know, I have a bad memory. Indonesia, this is, yeah, look at those pictures on the laptops. Those are students from Indonesia. India, February. In February 2020, Morocco, we have visited Morocco too. Ecuador in South America, Bangladesh, Indonesia for another time, United States of America, February. Turkey, this picture has been taken from my meeting with Turkey. Ecuador, this is another meeting with Ecuador. This is Indonesia. You may know them. This is Morocco. This is Indonesia too. One of the most amazing, enjoyable classes, actually. All those activities have been before pandemic. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. This meeting was with Sri Lanka. Turkey, another meeting with Turkey. Pakistan, a very amazing meeting with Pakistan, Turkey, Sri Lanka, another one, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Russia, Morocco, USA, remote learning with live classes. This is a very amazing other project called BBC and Pearson Live Classes from London. I have joined this, and they connected me with 10 and 8 countries together, made 18 countries in 2 meetings with a very amazing specialist educator, Mr. Michel and Mr. Rob, Mr. Rob. Yeah, uh, we have studied English, social media, and New York active, topics, and so many other. I have generalized everything I'm doing with my colleagues inside and outside my country by uploading my works on my YouTube educational channel as well as my Facebook page, my website, my weekly profile, Microsoft in Education for BBC project, Hands Up, and a Word Peace Song project. I always announce to my colleagues, for all those who would like to join, to contact me. I coordinated with more than 50 teachers of online English classes in the projects I'm participating in. Moreover, I inspired my colleagues from other countries only by posting something from my work and asked me to know more. Teachers, I did generalizing games, technology and teaching English, remote learning, virtual classes, songs. I have generalized all this work with my teacher, with my colleague's teacher. For the curriculum, 3 educational books composed by me. The first, my 45 innovative gaming strategies. The number 2, around the world in 90 days. And the last one was 100 letters from Gaza to the whole world. The last one, it's not me alone who composed this one. It's cooperatingly with my students, actually. They sent their colleagues from all over the world some messages about life in Gaza. This is the first one. This is the second, and the third one. Yeah, this is the 100 letters from Gaza. Those are some letters. Let me read something to you. Palestine is famous with producing the highest quality oranges and lemons in the world. This is Shada Abu Warda, March 2020 from Gaza, Palestine, and so on. I am the designer of those pictures, but the authors are my students. During COVID-19 schools closure, I have launched a new initiative, the first online form of teachers of English in Palestine. Since March the 7th till now, I'm training my colleagues on remote learning skills, platforms, educational tools, programs. I also coordinate with all experts from all over the world to host them among my colleagues in specific topics to talk about and learn. Microsoft in Education, Google Classroom, Wakelet, Apple Teacher, National Geographic in Education, the WAFID website, Toontastic program, Animaker, Audacity, Camtasia, Twitter, storytelling, and so many others were in the topic of discussed as experts. I am a member of experts in technology in the Ministry of Education, Gaza and Palestine. I'm a member of We Are in This Together global conference. Also, these are some pictures from the conference. These are some pictures from the Ministry of Education. Those are some experts who have helped me and my colleagues in organized workshops from Palestine at the very beginning of COVID-19 pandemic in March. And some of them are from London. Mr. Ken Wilson, a professor teacher of English language, and this is the founder of English Wakelet educational platform. And this is my YouTube channel. This is my website, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Wakelet. Thank you very much. That's all I have. Hello?
Well,
Hello?
Mrs. Asma. Yeah, Mrs. Asma. Oh, Mrs. Asma.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
I thought
really
it.
interesting. Yeah.
Thank you. I was, you know, I thought I was disconnected without feeling.
Oh, no. It's really interesting. Yeah, you have shared many things related with teaching strategy, teaching method to develop students' skills. Thank you very much, Mrs. Asma. Well, to shorten the time, actually there are 3 questions that the same. Actually, 3 questions from the participant, but
okay, go on.
basically the same.
What is the first question?
Yeah. Okay, Mbak Kafa, just say directly, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Directly, Mbak Kafa.
Hello, good day, everyone. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am MLS Muhammad Ishaq Umar from Nigeria. I would like to recommend the lecturers that participated in this conference. I want to say they are really doing the best. And if I might get a chance opportunity, I would like to ask some few questions.
Okay.
Mr. Muhammad, sorry. Yeah,
What's the question?
Kafa, ready to ask directly?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, go on.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for your sharing, Mom. I want to ask about the teaching strategies for young learners. How about teaching strategies for young learners in this pandemic era? Because yeah, we know this condition make us should teach young learners from home. So how about strategies? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Asma.
Yeah, I heard the question. And if you give me the chance to answer, please. Okay, there are so many applications which have been innovated during COVID-19 pandemic to provide the learners, especially the young learners, with the enjoyable learning, not only in English, but also in all school subjects. One of the most important application called Kahoot. You can download this application on your cell phone and start making competition between your students, just like who is going to win the million. You know this game? Yeah, you ask questions and then the student moves to another level by answering the questions. The learners may think that they are just playing, but in fact they are learning. And you may also provide them with a kind of live classes containing some competitions too, and try to make your students inside the smart class into groups. You have to distribute them into groups, not for according to the level of achievement. Try to be smart in distributing them and giving them the role play according to their digital skills. The one who is going to be the leader should be, very, excellent or very good in using the digital tools so that he or she could be a leader among this group or an inspiring student. So this act, by this way, you may attract learners by learners. They are going to give this the positive feedback about your classes. By this way, you can control, teaching inside the smart classes more students and more than you can expect before. Just like what happened with me at the very beginning, I started with 5 students. And then my students started coming and inviting each other because they heard that there are so many enjoyable activities on Kahoot, competitions, and the teacher plays with them. The teacher opened the microphones for all of them to chat with each other.
Okay, thank
Is
you.
it clear? You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Ama. Really awesome.
You're welcome. Is there another question?
Yeah, there are some questions from chat box that basically the same question. Yeah.
Okay,
About,
so they have
yeah.
the answer. So they got the answer, right? What about the third question? There is a digital hand here, I see.
Oh, you also read the question from chat box?
There is raise hand, Miss.
Okay.
Raise hand?
Yes.
Yeah, I think because the time almost up, so one more question. Yeah, Mrs. Asma.
Okay.
One more question. Houston, raise hand from Houston. Mr. Muhammad.
Titi Fatima raise hand, Miss.
Oh yeah, Fatima, please. Unmute.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Miss Asma. I saw
Good
that your
evening, dear.
PPT online is very interactive. In the top of the PPT, I see that you are EKS or Global Teacher Award nominated maybe. Is it right or no? Because if I know long about EKS or Global Teacher Award, the teachers must be combined, the
Hello.
ITC usage.
I don't know whether anyone can hear me among the host or the co-host. Yes, I lost my audio, so I don't know whether the problem is from you. If you can rectify it, please, please, please.
Okay, are you listening me?
Yeah, I heard your question.
Okay, I can continue, Miss.
Okay.
Okay, well, I see your PPT, Miss Asma, is very interesting, fully of the game for teaching material and process. I ask you, when I see the PPT, it's on the
Hello.
top of PPT. Yeah.
Hello. Good day, gentlemen and ladies. Please, is
I
there anyone
can
who
hear
can hear me?
you, but okay. I can hear you. Yeah. This
Okay, I can hear
file
you
I
clear.
have uploaded on my website so that my colleagues, all over the world can get benefits from my experience in teaching English as a foreign language. So you can take my website called Asma Mustafa, my English classes. You can search on Google and download this file. It's about 103 slides. You know, it's my experience in 1 year. I have uploaded on my website. You can take it, okay?
Okay, thank you, Miss Asma.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Siti Fatima. Yeah, I think enough. Yeah. Give applause for Mrs. Asma Mustafa. Thank you very much for really interesting, really amazing presentation. Our regard from us, Indonesia, to Gaza, Palestine, Mrs.
Thank
Asma
you
Mustafa.
very
Thank
much.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Well, we are going to the next speaker. We invite Mr. Amir Abbas from University of South Asia, Lahore, Pakistan. Okay, Mr. Amir Abbas, floor is yours.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Waalaikumsalam.
So can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, clearly.
Yes.
Let me share my screen with you. Is it visible?
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Amir
So
Abbas.
today, thank you very much for inviting me as your speaker in your international conference. So today I'm discussing with you a very important topic related to academics and related to higher education, that is accreditations of academic programs. My name is Amir Abbas and I'm Director Quality Enhancement Cell at University of South Asia, Lahore, Pakistan. So this will be our presentation, that introduction about accreditations. Accreditations, rankings, and the quality in education are nowadays a buzzword. Accreditation is basically the advancement and upgrading of programs and performance in higher education institutions. It is basically a supervisory and legal process. It means that the educational institution or a program has specific criteria of quality, thus it has reached to a specific required standard. So basically, accreditation of your programs not only contribute in the image building of any institution, whether it's your college, it's your school or a university, but it will also give a confidence, a boost to the communities which you are serving. So that's why accreditations of your programs is basically a seal, is basically a cover that is giving protection that people are investing money for education and you are delivering them highest of quality. So this is basically a model, shows the concepts that accreditation, it is evaluation of activities of programs qualifications by specific criteria. Accreditation of programs starts with self-assessment, self-evaluation. So if you are doing internal quality assurance, you need to self-assess your programs on the assigned parameters, on the given parameters. Whatever accreditation you are seeking accreditation from your domestic bodies or from the international accreditation bodies. You have to come up with a strategy, with the parameters, and give your responses on the set criteria. So internal quality assurance means that you will be preparing self-assessment reports for your programs. And external quality assurance means that a third party is basically auditing your program, your institution on given parameters, and they are giving you accreditation. So external quality assurance means the accreditation. The internal quality assurance means that you need to come up with the self-assessment, self-evaluation of your programs. It is basically a collegial process based on self and peer evaluation. Peer evaluation means the other institutions, the experts from other institutions will also give their expert opinion, their input about your programs. They will identify your strengths and they will also identify the deficiencies in your program, because quality is a continuous improvement journey. It is basically a journey with no ends. You have to come up with the betterment every passing day. It assesses the quality of institution and academic programs for its improvement. As no institution or program, we cannot claim that we are ultimate ideal. So we have to continuously improve our programs. It certifies that educational programs meets defined standards. And it is basically a cover, it is basically a seal which you are offering, is a marketing tool which you are offering to the outside world, that our programs are accredited. These are meeting the minimum standards set by this regulatory body or institution. So it's basically a biggest marketing tool, a biggest confidence and morale booster for the students, which are the most important stakeholders in any educational institution. So accreditation, without accreditation, you cannot claim that you will be perfect. It also confirms that institution has a distinguished character and identity. It is also the matter of repute, the matter of prestige for your institution. Accreditation proves that actions are taken for quality improvement and these are successful. Because no program can be claimed as ultimate ideal, we are continuously improving our programs. The types of accreditations, it depends. Accreditation, the whole institution according to specific criteria. The main levers, the main drivers would be adequacy of resources, whether the institution has adequate resources that are required to run an institution as an educational institution, provision of academic services, curriculum, student achievement, administrative policies, and also the procedures and stability. So these things are important when we talk about the accreditation of programs. The types of accreditations. Program accreditations, specialized accreditations, it applies to programs, departments, schools. Because these programs, departments, schools are the part of your institution. Programs may be law, medicine, pharmacy, computer science, business. It guarantees that institutional programs to ensure its quality, to certify program and then institution. So I'm just moving the slide. So this is basically the overall objective of any accreditation. The objective is continuous improvement of the program. We want to produce high efficient graduates. We need to remain correct and consistent evaluation mechanism for students' learning programs. So these are the aims of any good accreditation. Continuous improvement, high efficient graduates, we can ensure high and demanded employability of our graduates, and also we can ensure that we have proper mechanisms in place for student learning programs. The scope of accreditations, educational programs, research, any scholarly activity and community involvement. But mainly the educational programs will become the part and the core of all accreditation process, because educational programs include each and everything. The other things, research, scholarly activities, community involvement sometimes are the subcomponents, the sub-functions of the educational programs. Accreditation process, we need to ask these questions: that has our institution clearly established its mission, goals, and learning objectives? Are our institution programs and resources met its mission, goals, and objectives? And what is the institutional evidence for achieving them? So we need to present documents as evidence. It's an evidence-based activity. It is an evidence-based process where we need to present the evidence for each and every claim. The journal accreditation steps, the institution conduct a self-study, as I'm mentioning, the self-assessment of programs by using standards as our guide. Then team of peer visit the campus, review the evidence, write assessment report to the accreditation organization, and the organization of accreditation will review the evidence, will review the recommendations, they will make their judgments, and they will communicate the decision to the institution. So this is the entire process, the broad steps involved in any journal academic process, accreditation, academic accreditation process. The decision would be, the decision of accreditation depends on the institutional compliance with the following: the principles of accreditations, the core requirements, the comprehensive standards, So these all will come under the considerations when the accreditation organization will publish their decision. The educational effectiveness will be the core of everything, and it covers the students, the graduates, the alumni, academic standards, the programs, courses along with their curriculum, teaching and learning facilities and the support services, faculty, the quality of faculty, the relevant faculty, the adequate resources as far as faculty is concerned, the scientific research and activities, the postgraduate programs, continuous evaluation for effectiveness of education. These will become the hallmark of the overall standards for educational effectiveness. So the conclusion is, accreditation, it is an instrument to reach global standards. If you want to earn respect, prestige, if you want to become a entity, the organization which will stand out from the rest, then it is an instrument to reach to global standards. It leads to continuous improvement, the Kaizen approach, the Japanese concept, to achieve independence, stability, and credibility as an educational institution. And it also checks the quality of educational services. It discovers the strengths and weak points in the educational organization programs. So it covers everything, the 360-degree approach. So last but not the least, accreditation process is representative, responsive, and appropriate to institutions' accredited types. Accreditation is basically a self-regulation process where you learn from your mistakes, where you will see what is happening around you, how we can improve our programs. It also requires the institutional commitment to student learning achievement, that the educational institution is committed to provide high quality education to its students. The institution is also committed about the learning achievement, student learning achievement, and it depends on the peer review process. And one thing which differentiates accreditations from other forms of endeavors like international rankings, the other features that will distinguish one institution from others is that accreditation is a robust process. It is a reliable process. You may see some deficiencies, some lacunas in international rankings. So international rankings, certifications sometimes not reflect the true picture which our educational institution is offering. It may be on the inflated side, it may be on the deflated side. So accreditation is a process that is a robust, that is most reliable, because you need to come up with evidence, and these evidence will be verified on site, on the campus of your institution. So it's a more reliable, it's a more robust, it's more accurate as compared to other features like rankings, the certifications, and any other stuff that is associated with the institutions of higher learning or the other institutions. So it's a more reliable process, and it will give you a boost of confidence, not only to yourself, but also to the other stakeholders outside your educational institution, that this institution is giving the right value for money. So that's all from my side. This is the summary. Procedures for accreditations, voluntary application of accreditations, request will be there, internal review, self-study, external review, the site visit, accreditation decision, and this is a continuous process. Then you also come up with the re-accreditation when your original accreditation expires, because it will not be granted to you for indefinite time period. There will be a certain time limit, and the re-accreditation process will be initiated again. So That's all from my side. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer your questions. I was very specific and brief by respecting the time limits.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amir Abbas. Yeah, regarding accreditation of academic programs. Yeah, I think this is standardized accreditation in your country, right? Can you hear my
I
voice,
cannot
Mr.
hear you properly. If you have, please, yes, please.
Hello, can you hear my voice?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Amir Abbas, for your good presentation, good information regarding the word standardized accreditation, I think.
Yes, accreditation of academic programs.
Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, this is university level or secondary level?
This is mainly applicable to the universities, seats of higher learning. So universities, sometimes colleges may also come under this scope. So mainly it is for higher education institutions, the programs of higher learning, the programs that are being offered at university level.
I see. Okay, Amir, because there is no question for you in the chat box. So
I'm writing my email address. So if you have any questions from the house, you may redirect those questions to my email.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me in your conference. I wish you all the best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Coming to the next is Jestoni P. Carpio. Hello, Jestoni.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, okay, Jestoni. Jestoni.
Lecturer of university.
Yeah, Jestoni is a lecturer of University of Caloocan City, Philippines. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Floor is yours.
Am I audible?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Clear enough.
Assalamu alaikum to our respected organizers and moderators of this virtual international conference of UIN Walisongo, my fellow speakers and presenters, our dearest attendees and participants, fellow educators and academicians all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is an honor and pleasure to be given a chance to be one of the speakers of this significant international conference. I am Dr. Jasoni P. Carpio, an English language, literature, communication arts, and research educator. And these are some information of mine for your reference. I finished college, master's, and doctorate degree in the same school, and that is the National Teachers College. And some of my awards and achievements are the following. Likewise, my affiliations and some organizations, both national and international. And below are my workplaces and positions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is but an honor and pleasure to be given a chance to talk on penning empirical researches in education, challenges and opportunities in pandemic and post-pandemic era. And to formally begin my presentation, it is formal on my part to share with you the objectives or expectation of my presentation. So these are the things that I'll cover. One, revisit the significant concepts in writing empirical research. Number two, discuss the challenges and opportunities in writing empirical researches in pandemic and post-pandemic era. And number three, identify timely topics in writing empirical researches in education. So let's begin my presentation. Whenever we talk about research, we will encounter two types of research activities. And according to Ward et al., there are two types of research activities. These are library research and empirical research. By the way, let's clarify the terms. When you encounter quantitative, qualitative, and mixed methods research, these three refer to types or approaches in research. While when you say two types of research activities, we talk about library research and empirical research. So, the first type of research activity is a library research. It involves the paradigm shift from knowing the topic to reading academic texts to simple academic writing or writing an essay. So in here, we prepare this type of research activity when we are trying to accomplish assignment, when we are working on project, or probably when we are preparing for a report in our class. And number two, we have so Ward et al. 2014 also uh, mentioned of another research activity, which is empirical research. This one is a lot difficult or more difficult compared to the previous one. It involves a paradigm shift from knowing the topic to reading academic texts to methodological or scientific actions to rigorous academic writing. It is otherwise known as pure research or applied research. Why did I say that this one is more difficult compared to the previous one? In a sense that this one is a requirement for somebody to be able to pass in a course or for one to be able to finish a degree, moreover to graduate in a particular college or a university. So that's according to Ward et al. 2014. Likewise, it's also important for us to talk about or to go back. Actually, these things are familiar for a majority of us since these are covered in research discussions. There are three general characteristics of empirical research according to Barrot and Cipacio 2016. These are purposive, scientific, and systematic. The first one is purposive. According to Barrot and Cipacio, purposive in a sense that um, it pertains to the aims or goals of the researcher. When just remember this one, it's very impossible for one to finish a paper or research paper without beginning first from his or her aims or goals. In other words, purposive or purpose or aims or goals is something that would serve as a light on the part of the researcher because it will guide him from the beginning until the end of research writing. So purposive aims or goals. Number two, scientific. So it means facts and realities. What does it mean? When you say facts and realities, everything that happens, everything that we include in the research paper must be something that is based on fact and based on reality. Meaning to say it is something that is verifiable. So that if ever somebody would question the content of our paper, nobody could really question it because it exhibits reality or it's something credible. It's based on something. Scientific evidence to be particular. Likewise, in terms of data gathering, when you say scientific, whatever data we gather, if these are the results, then we are not allowed to manipulate it. If these are the results, then be it. And then thirdly, Barrot and Cipacio 2016 also mentioned systematic as another characteristic of empirical research, meaning to say it follows methods or steps. Just like in this example, it's very impossible also for one to immediately gather the data without being able first to identify his or her purpose, likewise to be able to determine his or her problem in the research or the problems in research. And since I mentioned of systematic as one of the characteristics of empirical research, we will also go back to the basic process of empirical research writing. But I'm going to make it contextualized in pandemic and post-pandemic era. Now, so if we are enrolled in a research class with and one of the requirements is for one to finish a paper and then defend it later on, the first thing that we're going to do is to conceptualize topic. And what do we have to consider in here? So consider in here topics that are significant, challenging, timely, relevant, most importantly, topics that are feasible. And when I say feasible, it is something that can be finished within a certain period of time. For example, in one semester or in a particular school year or academic year. Likewise, feasible in a sense that it is anchored on our budget or on our financial stability and also on our capacity. If we could not work on it, then it will not be feasible. So after conceptualizing the topic, of course, it's but proper to let our advisor or teacher to let it approve. And if it's already approved, by the way, before we proceed to the next steps, uh, there are some tiny topics that I will share with you. Although these are not new, you probably are familiar. For pandemic era, you may work on topics such as or pertaining to the effects of pandemic to and preparedness on the curriculum. So of course, the pandemic definitely had impacted the curriculum. Just like in our country, we modified the curriculum in a sense that we have to make it shorter. We would just include the most essential learning competencies in our curriculum. Likewise, we may work on learning resources. Since the curriculum has been changed, learning resources will also be changed. The same with learning modalities or learning delivery, assessment during pandemic era, technology, the role of technology in education during the pandemic era. If you could notice, there are so many schools that have been really utilizing technology in this time so that they could deliver their curriculum or they could continue their education. And then TPAKE, technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge and expertise of both educators and learners. While during the transitioning from pandemic or post-pandemic era, a researcher may work on the following topics: effectiveness of modified or newly made curriculum, learning resources, learning delivery, assessment, technology in education, and tipake of educators and learners. Again, when I say tipake, it means technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge and expertise. While the last one, post-pandemic era, if you could notice, there are question marks in here. What could probably be the reason for this? My reason is that we are not sure of what will happen after the pandemic. There is a possibility that we will be retained in the same condition if pandemic would continue, or we are going back to the previous practices we have had. So that's it. The reason why we have question mark here. And then the next step, if the topic has been already approved, we may now work on reading and writing references. What should I be reminding you on this one? Since we are not allowed to go to physical library, I'm referring to working on your literature review now, if the topic has been already approved. So things that you have to consider are the following. One, do the evaluation of materials so that you will not be wasting time, effort, and energy uh, reading something that you will not really use or that is not of use to you. So you check on the following: authority, currency, documentation, intended audience, objective or purpose, and relevance. Evaluate the materials first. Likewise, let's skip this one. Since we are not allowed to go to the physical library, the only references that we could utilize are the online sources, in particular, the ones that are credible or research based. So we talk about online journals. So the following are the recommended online journals that you may utilize. Also, take note, take into consideration the style guide that you will use. Since majority of us, I firmly believe, belong to education sector, therefore, we primarily utilize American Psychological Association. Let's continue further. And also, third one is identifying the problem and asking questions. In here, there will be no problems in this since this one is not that really affected by the pandemic. We could still conceptualize problems and write our statement of the problem by merely reading references online. Of course, the questions must be based still on the topic that was approved. Now, here comes one of the most affected part of the process: identifying, constructing, validating, and testing research instruments. Now, why did I include identifying in here? For sometimes there are already or readily available research instruments or data gathering instruments that you may use, only that you have to ask for the permission of the original owner of that. Otherwise, you might be accused of stealing someone else's intellectual property. And then constructing, validating, and testing research instruments. So construct, if there is no readily available data gathering instrument, then the researcher is obliged to come up with his or her own research instrument, given the fact that it must undergo validation and pilot testing so that it will not lose validity and reliability. So the next one is the most affected. When you gather the data, most frequently asked questions rather about data gathering. Since as what I told you, we are not allowed to go to a particular place where we could gather data. For example, I'm working on ethnography as a design under qualitative research. Will I be allowed to go to the province if I'm studying a particular language? The answer is no. So what shall I do in that case? I could not work really on ethnography because the best way as to how you would gather the data is to immerse yourself in that particular place. Therefore, I could not be able to work on ethnography. What shall I do now? I have to decide choosing another research design. Could I use survey descriptive design or descriptive design with my study? I could use it. Now the question is, how will I be able to gather data since I'm not allowed to go to a particular place to gather data or administer questionnaire, for instance? I could send questions using gadget or using social media, for example, Messenger. I could send them questions, or the most used one is the Google Sheet. I could also use that one. I would make survey and then send it among my respondents. So there are really possible ways as to how you would gather the data so that you could protect yourself also from COVID-19. Utilize technology. Then let's move forward. This one is not that much affected. So presenting, analyzing, interpreting the data. What should I be reminding you about this one? Just remember the differences among the three: presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. Likewise, when you say presentation, we're talking about textual and visual presentation here. So in most cases, researchers would really have to use visuals in a sense that readers would easily understand or would easily get it if they could see it in visual presentation. It is a reality. There are many readers who would not really devote their time reading the entire text, so they would just look at the visuals. Therefore, our visuals must show all the necessary information or data that the readers might or must read or must see. And also, we have since we already have gathered the data and we have prepared the presentation already, analysis and interpretation, we also utilize in the presentation and interpretation our review of related literature. We could now write the entire paper, but this could vary according to the researcher. Sometimes they prepare it chapter by chapter or part by part, but some others could prepare the entire paper at the end or in the latter part of the process. Let's proceed. And then sharing the research. There are three ways as to how we could share research during this time, this trying times. One is by having it defended or presented online, or two, having it published online. So these are some of the ways as to how we could do it. And since I mentioned of presentation, just like what we are doing, we're actually doing sharing of research. For I firmly believe most of the presentations are research based. Therefore, uh, This one is one avenue as to how we could share research. And these are some of this is actually the format we follow if we would like to publish our paper online. It follows the IMRAD format: introduction, methodology, results, and discussion. So imagine if your paper is a chapter paper, 5 chapter paper, it has to be transformed into shorter version, usually 10 pages, at least 10 pages, to make it publishable in a journal. So it will now become IMRAD format. Let's continue further. This is the generic process as to how you publish in a reputable journal. Take a look at my words. I said reputable journal because in at present times there are really predatory journals that would require payment for you to publish a journal, research paper in a journal. But in reality, um, a reliable or credible journal will not ask for payment. Let's continue. And then along the way, proofreading and editing of research happens. So it can happen right after letting somebody approve your topic, letting somebody check your questions, and then proofread and edit. So along the way, it can happen. It's not only happening at the last part. That's our usual idea of this process. All right. We write research or empirical research for the following purposes: solve problems, contribute to the fund of knowledge and community, and that is by sharing it either through conference or publishing your paper. Replicate ideas with uniqueness and identity. Can we work on the same topic similar with other researchers' topic? The answer is yes. For example, it's done in Indonesia. Can I also do it in Philippines? The answer is yes, as long as you would maintain your identity so that you will not, later on, you will not be accused of plagiarizing someone else's work. And by saying maintaining identity and uniqueness, therefore, you are not allowed to copy someone else's wording on that paper, but you may base your topic probably on that existing paper. And then propose something new, just like proposing a medicine that would cure COVID-19. It has to undergo research, ultimately to improve the quality of life. And then we have this is the last part of my presentation. If you could notice, I did not begin my presentation by sharing with you immediately the definition of research because I usually give it at the end. Where am I basing this? I'm basing this on the things that I discussed with you, such as the characteristics, processes, and purposes of writing empirical research. Therefore, we define research as a purposive, scientific, systematic process of conceptualizing the topic, reading and writing references, identifying the problem and asking questions, identifying, constructing, validating, testing research instruments, gathering the data, presenting, analyzing, interpreting the data, writing the research report, sharing the research, and proofreading and editing the research to solve problems, contribute to the fund of knowledge and community, replicate ideas with uniqueness and identity, propose something new, and improve the quality of life. And that is our definition of research. And to formally end my presentation, allow me to end everybody this statement that before, during, and even after these trials, opportunities were, are, and will be around. With that, thank you, fellow educators. Moderators.
Thank you, Dr. Jestoni, for
Thank
your enlightened presentations. For your information, there are some requests to you regarding your presentation material.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'll be sending it to them through Professor Dr. Andy Asrifan or through the email that sent me an invitation.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Jestoni, sometimes if we conduct field research, I mean empirical research, the problem in the pandemic era is collecting the data.
Yes.
Can you give suggestions for collecting the data during work from home, something like that?
In my experience, because before I just recently finished my doctorate degree. So how did I gather data this May? I actually just had it defended this May. So how did I gather the data? I just sent, I was not allowed to really go to the different schools because the nature of my study is studying the leadership styles of different administrators and even faculty members of schools within our city. Actually, throughout Caloocan City. So how did I gather the data? My suggestion is really utilize technology because one, you save time. Two, you save expenses or effort. Three, you are also saving yourself from COVID-19. So how did I do it? I sent them formal request first, letter of request that I'll be allowed to gather data. And then later on, I said if when the time that my letter was already approved by the authorities, then I sent them the questionnaire online. So that's how I did it for quantitative, sort of a descriptive design was a design of my study. And I was also one of the recommendations of my panelists during my defense was for me to add interview. Now, how did I do the interview? Again, I was not allowed to go to the workplace or schools. I just utilized the Zoom application, and what I did was I scheduled an interview with them. I interviewed them utilizing Zoom. What's the benefit of using the Zoom? If I will do it in a traditional way, I have to record it and then later on transcribe whatever they said on the recording. That's how we do it, right? In phenomenological design. The beauty of utilizing Zoom is that I could record our conversation. So it will simplify the process in a sense that it's recorded. What I will do is that I will just listen to it later on. Aside from what do you call this one? Aside from using note taking or field notes or jotting down notes, whatever they said, I could record it. But the problem in here is that you must ask the people's permission first before recording something because that will violate research ethics. You have to ask their permission whether they allow you to record the conversation. So remember that point.
That's all?
That's all. Thank you.
Mister,
Yeah,
could you start your video? Sorry. Could you turn on your video for I want to take screenshot in my screen for documentation.
Sure.
We do right now, and then
I'm sorry.
on video to taking photograph together. We must do now, and then still like speaker actually.
Okay.
Hello, Pak Hamdan.
Yes, thank you, Miss.
To those who are asking,
Okay, well, thank you.
to those who are asking about the materials, I'll just be sending you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, see you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah, give applause. Thank you very much, Dr. Jestuni.
Well, coming to the next is Professor Dr. Sharif Mohammed from Egypt. Hello. Assalamualaikum.
How are you? Alaikum salam. How are you, ma'am?
Yeah, okay. Under title Open Educational Resources and Massive MOOCs, yeah. MOOC means massive open online resources, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, floor is yours.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Firstly, thank you so much for this kind invitation to participate with all of you and meet such a fabulous speaker and the participants. I'm honored to be with you. My name is Dr. Sharif Ismail. I'm Associate Professor in Management Information System I would like share some thought with you under the title Open Educational Resources and MOOCs. Actually, during the COVID-19 crisis, countries have implemented a range of measures to cut the educational impact of the pandemic and empowering the what we call it the usage of what we call it artificial intelligence in learning, by the way that makes the artificial intelligence may replace the human soon in different sectors of industry world. But the educational industry faces a unique opportunity. I mean the opportunity to reach out to everyone on the earth, to provide them all with access to insightful, valuable content. Actually, there are three areas. Always I focus on them: curation, distribution, and consumption, that are all going through paradigm shift. Curation today, all of our educational courses material are curated by human, but there will come a tipping point by 2030, maybe before, maybe after, equipped with artificial intelligence and with unlimited access to powerful cloud computing resources. Curriculum saving machine will be able to tap into the power of the cloud to create materials that, based on a wealth of available data, are specifically tailored to the needs, aspiration of the learning style and of each individual student. Consumption will be one of the most rapidly changing part of the learning equation. Students will increasingly become accustomed to artificial intelligence. By the way, distribution also, over the past 20 years, we have seen significant change in the way content is distributed. In the past, students had to be in classroom, but now educational institutions like MIT and Harvard and even private companies like P&G and General Electric are offering students from around the world opportunities to attain their own version of massive open online courses, what we call it MOOC. So our topic today is about what we call it MOOC. I'll try through my session to keep abreast of current ideas of open educational resource, and based on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam recommendation, what is a little and sufficient is better than what is abundant and negligent. So our outline today will cover the current evolution in learning and also open educational resource. The third item, MOOC. The last one, instructional design for MOOC. Actually, if we will talk about web evolution, we will find that there is a relation between education and the evolution of web. And also there is a relation with them with the last version of industry. So when we talk about Web 1, that means the web includes file server, databases, web search engine, static website. At that level of progress of the web improvement, we find the education version 1, if we can say that, education version 1 focus on memorization. In the second version of the web, there is a social web, includes email, instant messages, social networks. Also, we will find that mirror or affect the education that allow education version 2 to be internet-enabled learning and teaching. The next version of web, what we call it web 3, also it was the semantic web, includes semantic search, intelligence, semantic knowledge management and knowledge bases, also that help a lot the education to go for next step, what we call it education version 3, which aims for empowering a student to produce knowledge. By the way, semantic search refer to the ability of what we call it search engine to consider the intent and contextual meaning for search phrases when serving content to a user on the web. After that, we go for web 4. This is the current status for the web. Actually, ubiquitous web includes semantic agent ecosystem, automatic intellectual property, and that also help education to go for the next version, education version 4. It's related to industry version 4 also, that focusing on industry developing, using empowering a student to produce innovative using artificial intelligence and other modern tools. All the web version focus on connects knowledge, except the current web 4, which focus on connects intelligence. We will go for current evolution in learning, focus on current context. There is 4 C's of community. These 4 C's, number 1 is content. The quality content is a great way to attract people are needed to form the elusive community that your brand is hoping will to be built, such your courses, your material. When considering community initiative, there are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where will the content come from? Does it provide indisputable value? Can be a regular flow of quality content to be maintained. The second element, context. Context means understanding how to meet people where they are up and serving up the right experience at the right time. The third element, connectivity. Actually, communities can be the new customer relationship management. If we deal with our student as a client, that will help us a lot to be connected with them, but require people to be minding it, community, using a software platform and other tools that will empower and strengthen this item. The last one is continuity, which thrive often evolve over time to meet evolving needs of user. We mean your student. Communities need to be flexible to evolve over time while still providing a valuable and consistent user experience, which can be sustained over time. What kind of impact on learning resources and environments? Actually, we see a lot of type of learning. Meaning of e-learning is a term that means something different to almost everyone who uses. Some use the term to refer to packaging, to content pieces, and other to technical infrastructure. Some think only of web-based self-study, while other realizes e-learning can encompass real-time learning and collaboration. Almost all agree that e-learning is an effective method that should be blended into a cooperation current learning mix. E-learning actually refers to the use of internet or wireless technology to deliver a broad array of training solutions. By the way, learning is the idea that a student can learn from any place at any time using portable learning device. Learning or mobile learning is any sort of learning that takes advantage of learning opportunity over by mobile technologies. In other words, mobile learning decreases limitation of learning location through the mobility or of portable devices. There is no doubt learning is convenient in the sense that it is accessible from virtual anywhere, which provide access to all the different learning material available. The most significant role of ubiquitous computing technologies in learning is to construct ubiquitous learning environment which enable anyone to learn at any place at any time. That means multimedia brought the world into the classroom. Now smart technology will bring the classroom to the world. Open education resources, which our topic today, we have to know what this term means. Actually, based on the UNESCO definition, open educational resources are teaching, learning, or research materials that are in the public domain or released with an intellectual property license that allows for free use, adaptation, and distribution. Open educational resource promote sharing and give the teacher or student the possibility to make his or her own version in their own context. Open teaching, a practice of using technology to open formal university courses for free to enable informal participation by individuals not officially enrolled in the course. Also, there is principle of open educational resource. I would like to show you this principle. Number one, what we call it reuse. Reuse, the most basic level of openness. People are allowed to use all or part of the work for their own purposes. Example, download an educational video to watch at a later time. The second principle, redistribute. People can share the work with other, for example, send a digital article by email to a colleague. Revise, people can adapt, modify, translate, or change the work. For example, take a book written in English and turn it into a Spanish audio book, for example. Remix, people can take two or more existing resource and combine them to create a new resource. For example, take audio lecture for one course and combine them with slides from another course to create a new work. Retain no digital rights management restriction. The content is yours to keep, whether you are the author and the instructor using the material or a student. So make and own a copy, reuse using a wide range of modify, combine two or more, share, that means share with others. Actually, to pay attention or pay attention with this topic, we have to know the benefit of it. Actually, there are a lot of benefit for learner, learn to learn, autonomy in learning, access to various learning resources, acquisition of transferable digital competences, learning from formal and informal learning, also for teacher, save time, pedagogical innovations such as flipped classes. When we talk about flipped classes, it's very, what we call it, important pedagogical innovation style for modern classroom. Also, visibility for learning resources reduced. Also, more interaction in teaching. The benefit for university: sharing of learning resources, teaching staff, student, administrative staff, better support for new teacher, visibility and the opening of the university on the environment. What we call it, I consider the big bang of open educational, what we call it, resources. The MOOC stand for Massive Open Online Courses. It is a set of classes or plan of study on a particular subject, usually leading to an exam of qualification. Also, we can say it has a numerous number of subscribers. A student maybe exceed more than 100,000. Student must register in order to follow the courses, maintaining the what we call it pace and completing the exercise is crucial element for gaining the certification. A MOOC is online, meaning that all the courses and exercise are organized for delivery on the internet. Exercise, homework, and sometimes even exams are online lecture at home and homework in class. These courses are open to one and all, and they have no physical limitation because they are completely digitized and accessible over the internet with no barriers. Students are all over the world. Registration is free and there are no prerequisites. There are a lot of types of courses such as a lecture, seminar, colloquium or reading, tutorial, directed individual laboratory. Also, there are a special case of MOOC, what we call it a SPOOC. SPOOC means small private online courses you can tailor or you can customize for your course or for your student. It will be a small group of students. The history of MOOC to be brief in that part, actually there are a lot of terminology that pop up from 1999, such as the Open University is a public distance learning research university and one of the biggest university in the UK. Methods for teaching, use methods for teaching written and audio materials, internet, disk-based software and television programs. Also, there is OSS, what we call it, stand for Open Source Software. Also, open educational resource start to appear between the period of 2007. Freely available for modification, use, and redistribution under a license similar to those used by the open resource free software community. Also, open courseware are course lessons created at university and published for free via the internet. Open courseware movement started in 1999. Actually, what we call it, the real appeal of this MOOC was at 2012 or 11 in Canada, and started this platform like Coursera and edX support this idea well. Also, there is two types or two models for MOOC, what we call it extended massive open online courses. XMOOC relies on a more traditional model of education based on lecture recorded in video and usually is well financed. And advantage of XMOOC is that they significantly broaden the number of students who can be exposed to university level courses. This is regard X learning. Also, there is what we call it CMOOD, conventivist. MOOC emphasize the connectivist philosophy. It is a social platform for collaboratively shared and building knowledge within a community of people, rather than being delivered by an individual instructor as in traditional university courses. CMOOC involve a group of people learning together, include blogs, learning communities, and social media platforms that contain content and promote interaction. In this environment, participants are all considered a teacher and a learner, which stands in contrast to the structure of XMOOC, where each individual is either a student or a teacher. Actually, there is a lot of pros of what we call it the MOOC. First, it's free. And free means what the most important factor for a lot of aspiring students is whether or not they can afford the high tuition fees required for the course. Also, the quality. There are many observers who ask whether MOOC would have been as much popular if university like Stanford, Harvard hadn't been the ones at the forefront of this revolutionary change in education. So that there's a good quality, also opportunity, no formal requirement, finally cooperation. Also, there is a cons for the MOOC. Firstly, what we call it non-accreditation. But now they try to solve this problem by universities a partnership with this platform like Coursera and edX to start. The university can give the accreditation for the course, and Coursera present the content of this course. Overcrowding, because the number, high iteration, lack of motivation, unreliable grading structure. There's a lot of MOOCs now, like Coursera and edX. This is the most popular platform for such MOOC. Finally, instructional design for MOOC. Actually, there are 5 elements: novelty and leverage for previous experience, content that it challenges and interest any participant with any level of expertise in a topic, no matter what their previous experience about the topic are. The second one, input from diversity of source, rich amount of sources that come from diverse perspectives to help participants think and develop understanding of the topic, videos, reading, a book, movie, etc. A variety of digital material that can enrich the experience of being informed and learning. The third, good for understanding and further graded activities that allow participants to check their understanding of the weekly talk or discussion. At the time in the force and motivation for engagement and participant to select a topic within the topic of the class to have their own discussion and learning hubs. Invite them to use class material to trigger and learning. The last one, planning for legacy, inspire participants to create digital space that will continue the discussion or from the topic of the class. Suggest students make or take agents of change or discovery in their worlds of work or life. Thank you so much for your patience and ready for any question. Yes.
Well, thank you, Prof. Sarif.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful presentation regarding MOOCs. Yeah. See you next time, Prof. Sarif. Nice to meet you. And then coming to the next, we are going to take some pictures. Please turn on your camera, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Okay.
Okay, enough, Miss.
Yeah, okay. The last one. Now we are going to watch the video from Dr. Gada Tosan Abdul Latif. He is from Egypt. Yeah. Please, Pak Hamdan.
Okay.
Share the video. Dr. Gada Tosan Abdul Latif, because he has some program today, so he sent the video of his presentations.
Hello, I'm so happy to be with you today. I'm Dr. Gada Tosan from Egypt, Bani Suef University. I'll speak today about how to create creative learner. First, let's define what is creativity. As mentioned in Merriam-Webster, it is the ability to create, the ability to produce original and unusual ideas, or to make something new or imaginative. Dictionary search. It is also the ability to surpass traditional ideas, rules, patterns, relationships, or the like, and to create meaningful new ideas, forms, methods, interpretations, etc. It is originality, progressiveness, or imagination. The need for creativity in modern industry. Creativity is a performing arts. Creativity is the act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. Creativity is characterized by the ability to perceive the world in new ways, to find hidden patterns, to make connections between seemingly unrelated phenomena, and to generate solutions. Creativity involves two processes, thinking, then producing. There isn't just one way for a person to be creative, or one set of characteristics that will differentiate the creative person. Instead, Many experts think of creativity as a set of skills and attitudes that anyone is capable of. Tolerating ambiguity, refining old problems, finding new problems to solve, taking workable risks, and following an inner passion. Okay, let's see. Big C or little c. Big C creativity is true innovation, a completely unique idea that revolutionized any exciting way of doing. It is rare ideas of extraordinary people like Leonardo da Vinci, Mona Lisa. We have also middle C creativity, is an intentionally bringing together new ideas and imagining new possibilities on a larger scale. When a person learns something new and their understanding of the world changes. We have also the little c creativity, is the hundred of choices you make each day that govern how you move through the world. When a person's life becomes surrounded with everyday creative thoughts and actions. So, do our students need to be creative? Of course, our students need to be creative because creativity is multidisciplinary. Creativity allows you to express yourself. Creativity promotes thinking and problem solving. Creativity reduces stress and anxiety. Creativity allows you to enter your happy zone and have fun. It gives you a sense of purpose. It can lead to feelings and accomplishment and pride. Creativity can link you to others with the same passion. Creativity improves your ability to focus. It promotes risk-taking and repetition. Creativity is a prerequisite for innovation. It encourages us to be lifelong learners. Why schools need to prioritize creativity? It may also be instructive to think about what creativity is not. Just for artists, writers, and painters, it is an attitude and way of problem solving that applies across domains from engineering to biology to business. Necessarily a result of or sign of mental illness. While there may be connection between creativity in individuals with certain disorders, beware uncyclical stories of ear-slicing artists and hot-headed scientists. Also fixed traits that only some people possess. The same as IQ, even students who are not intellectually gifted can be highly creative. Beyond measurement, while no single test is perfect, there are many ways to assess and improve creativity. Creativity also directly enhances learning by increasing motivation, deepening understanding, and promoting joy. Core motivation is essential to the creative process and relies on students pursuing meaningful goals. Create is at the top of Bloom's taxonomy for a reason. By noticing board patterns and connecting materials across academic disciplines, creative thinking can facilitate deeper cross-curricular learning. Also, as Alan Jordan Tarko points out in his book Creativity in the Classroom the strategies that support creativity, solving problems, exploring multiple options, and learning and inquiry also support depth of understanding. How to develop your student creativity in the classroom? Creativity requires a safe environment in which to play, exercise self-rule, and take risks. As teacher, it is up to us to establish this kind of supportive classroom. Here are some suggestions from psychologists and educators for how to develop and cultivate your student creativity. First, create a compassionate, accepting environment. Since being creative requires going out on a limb, students need to trust that they can make a mistake in front of you. Be present with student ideas. Have more off-the-cuff conversation with the student. Find out what their passion areas are and build those into your approach. Encourage autonomy. Don't let yourself be a negotiator of what good work is. Instead, give feedback that encourage self-assessment and independence. Reward assignment to promote creative thinking. Try adding words like create, design, invert, imagine, suppose to your assignments. Adding instructions such as come up with as many solutions as possible or be creative can increase creative performance. Give students direct feedback on their creativity. Lots of students don't realize how creative they are or get feedback to help them incorporate creative into their self-concept. Explore the idea of creative competence alongside the traditional academic competences. When we evaluate something, we value it, creating a self-concept that includes creativity. Help students know when it is appropriate to be creative. For example, help them to see the context when creativity is more or less helpful. In a low-stakes group project, you can versus a standard state assessment. Use creative instructional strategies, models, and methods. As much as possible in a variety of domains, model creativity for students in the way you speak and the way you act. For example, you could say, I thought about 3 ways to introduce this lesson. I'm going to show you 2, then you come up with a third. Or show them personal project you have been working on. Channel the creativity impulses in misbehavior. For a student who often disturbance, see if you noticed any creativity in their behavior. Perhaps that originality could be channeled in other ways. Protect and support your student basic motivation. Basic motivation for the creativity. Several studies have shown that relying on rewards and incentives in the classroom can weaken basic motivation to complete a task. An effect called over-justification. To avoid this, try to limit competitions and comparison with others, focusing instead on self-improvement. Experiment with monitoring student lists as they work, and provide opportunities for them to follow their passion when you can. Make it clear to students that creativity requires effort. The creative process is not simple. and doesn't strike without warning. Tell students that truly creative people must imagine and struggle and reimagine while working on a project. Explicitly discuss creativity, methods, and stereotypes with your students. Help them understand what creativity is and is not, and how to recognize it in the world around them. Experiment with activities where students can practice creative thinking. Many teachers have suggestions for creative activities they have tried as warm-ups or quick breaks. Doodles or visual riddles are simple line drawings that can have a wide range of different interpretation and can also stimulate different thinking. Quick writers and free writers can help students to let go of their internal censor. As part of reviewing material, you could have kids use concept cartooning or draw design, paint visual metaphors to capture the essence of complex academic information. Develop your own creativity. As teachers, we need to develop our own creativity. Teachers who can model creative ways of thinking, playfully engage with content, and express their ideas will create creative students. Students need to see teachers who have passions, whether it is drawing, mathematics, painting, biology, music, politics, or theater. The infection of passion and positive emotion is a source for creative thought. Creatively fulfilled teachers may also be happier teachers. Engaging in creating activity just once a day can lead you into a more positive state of mind. This positive state of mind will sustain you and spread to your students. Okay, here are some ways teachers can develop and nurture their own creativity. First, be aware of your own limiting misconceptions about creativity. Examine your own attitude toward creativity and help yourself grow by thinking about alternative solutions. Experiment with new ways of teaching in the classroom. Could you try a new art integration lesson you have always been afraid to try? Okay, you can try it. Take a risk to express your creative side. Having a dragon telling a student to put their backpacks away is much more likely to amuse. Plus, it is a chance for you to challenge yourself artistically every day. Treat lesson planning as a creative exercise it is. Every day, you face new constraints in the form of the needs and preferences of the specific learners in your classroom. Have you heard your student debating a certain issue during break? Have you noticed their attention focused on a particular new device, fashion, or current events issues? Find a way to weave it into the lesson. Develop personal creative rituals. Perhaps 2 hours weekly, especially set aside and committed to nurturing your creative consciousness, your inner artist, a visit to a great junk store, a solo trip to the beach, and old movie scene along together, a visit to an aquarium or an art gallery. This costs time, not money. Remember, It is a time commitment that is scared. Try mediation practices that encourage creative thought, such as open monitoring mediation. One study found that those who practice focused attention mediation perform better on a test of convergent thinking, while those who practiced open monitoring mediation performed better on a test of divergent thinking. Seek solitude. Spending time on solitude is essential to nurturing your creativity. Set aside some time to be alone, away from the distractions of technology and others who may rely on you. Travel. One study found that cross-cultural experiences can increase measures of creative thinking. Switch up your daily routines. You can challenge your conventional ways of thinking by taking a different route to work, listening to a new genre of music, go to a museum and check out a style of art you are unfamiliar with. Changing your environment and breaking out of habitual thought can check your mind out of it. Embrace ambiguity. You have probably teaching your student to embrace error, take risks, and learn from failure. See your own teaching as an extension of the same process. So embrace the gray areas, the ambiguities. Ambiguity tolerance is a key component of creativity. Okay, thank you. I'm so happy that I was presenting with you today. Thank you.
That's all, Miss.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Gada, for a nice presentation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for the plenary session today. Thank you very much for really nice presenters and participants today. See you tomorrow on the next plenary session. Pak Ikram, you have a question? No? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, I am Nadia Makmun with Ibu Dr. Siti Mariam MPD as a moderator from UIN Wali Songo Semarang. Forgive us if we made a mistake. Thank you very much for your attention today. And let's recite Alhamdulillah together to end this plenary session. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Once more, thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Pak Hamdan, sampun. Ini mau taking picture lagi, Pak Hamdan? Udah ya?
I think enough, Miss.
Okay, you may leave the room and see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Islam Negeri Wali Songo Semarang. Fakultas unggul, inovatif, dan responsif terhadap tuntutan zaman.
Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training of UIN Wali Songo Semarang is one of the most favorite faculty. This faculty was born right along the establishment of IAIN Wali Songo Semarang in 1970. As an almost half-century faculty, Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training has involved in the shaping of teachers with intelligence, moderation, and nobility, as well as equipped with competitive skills framed in the unity of science.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan merupakan salah satu fakultas di Universitas Islam Negeri Wali Songo Semarang. Menjadi guru yang profesional adalah sebuah harapan sekaligus tuntutan. Fakultas ini hadir untuk menyiapkan calon tenaga pendidik dan kependidikan yang profesional, milenial, dan berkarakter dengan berbasis pada kesatuan ilmu dalam membangun kemanusiaan dan peradaban.
In the creation of smart and green campus, FITK UIN Wali Songo Semarang has committed to become a faculty which is fresh, modern, and competitive. This faculty has a vision of becoming an excellent Islamic teaching model in ASEAN for 2030. To achieve it, the faculty has built a various network with the agencies at home and abroad. There are 6 bachelor degrees and 2 master degrees. There are Bachelor of Islamic Education.
Prodi PAI UIN Wali Songo telah memiliki pengalaman yang sangat matang, yaitu selama 50 tahun bersamaan dengan berdirinya IAIN tahun 1970, dan itu menunjukkan kematangan dari pengelolaan lembaga atau prodi PAI ini.
Bachelor of Arabic Education.
PBA ingin mengantarkan lulusannya menjadi pengajar profesional bahasa Arab tingkat dasar dan menengah, baik formal maupun non-formal, yang memiliki kompetensi pedagogik sebagai guru bahasa Arab profesional, memiliki kompetensi keilmuan bidang bahasa Arab, sastra dan budayanya, serta memiliki kompetensi komunikatif.
Bachelor of English Education.
Program Studi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan UIN Wali Songo Semarang menjadi lembaga pendidikan bahasa Inggris berbasis riset yang mengacu pada kesatuan ilmu pengetahuan untuk inovasi kebijakan, kurikulum, pedagogi, dan asesmen bahasa Inggris di sektor formal dan informal untuk kemanusiaan dan peradaban.
Bachelor of Islamic Education Management.
Jurusan Manajemen Pendidikan Islam adalah salah satu jurusan di Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan yang fokus pada kajian-kajian keilmuan manajemen. Dengan demikian, visi MPI adalah menjadi model manajemen pendidikan Islam unggul berbasis kesatuan ilmu tingkat nasional tahun 2027.
Bachelor of Teacher Education Madrasah Ibtidaiyah.
Mari bergabung dengan salah satu program studi unggulan dan banyak diminati oleh masyarakat pada Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan, yaitu program studi pendidikan guru Madrasah Ibtidaiyah (PGMI) yang akan mencetak guru kelas yang profesional, guru panutan, role model, mandiri, dan inovatif.
Bachelor of Early Childhood Islamic Education.
jurusan PIAUD FITK UIN Wali Songo Semarang memiliki visi program studi unggul Qur'ani dan mandiri dalam bidang pendidikan Islam anak usia dini berbasis kesatuan ilmu di tingkat nasional tahun 2025.
Master of Islamic Education Program.
Program studi S2 PAI berfokus untuk menjawab kebutuhan masyarakat terhadap kompetensi, mutu, dan profesionalitas pendidik dalam menjalankan program belajar mengajar untuk mencapai tujuan pendidikan.
Master of Islamic Education Management.
Program studi S2 Manajemen Pendidikan Islam didirikan berdasarkan satu kebutuhan, di mana pada praktiknya banyak kepala madrasah, kepala sekolah, pengelola lembaga-lembaga pendidikan Islam yang punya keinginan kuat untuk mempelajari lebih dalam bagaimana melakukan pengelolaan lembaga pendidikan yang efektif dan efisien.
FITK is fully equipped with modern facilities. Administration building, lecture buildings, smart classroom, library, micro-teaching laboratory, language laboratory, laboratory for study program, computer laboratory, gazebo, sport facilities, mosque, academic information system, e-learning system, auditorium, and integrated parking lot.
Lembaga mahasiswa menjadi lembaga yang mandiri dan revolusioner dari segi aktivitas organisasi atau kegiatan-kegiatan yang fokus kepada pendidikan.
Karena lembaga organisasi mahasiswa merupakan sarana terbaik untuk belajar kepemimpinan di lingkungan kampus dan menciptakan kaum intelektual yang berbudaya moral, kritis, dan kepekaan sosial.
สวัสดีค่ะดิฉันชื่อมิสคอลิยปอซาดิฉันมาจากประเทศไทยค่ะดิฉันรู้สึกดีใจที่ได้เรียนที่นี่เพราะที่นี่เป็นมหาลัยที่มีประสิทธิภาพสูงและมีคณะอาจารย์ที่เก่งๆในทุกด้านและดิฉันมีเพื่อนๆที่คอยช่วยเหลือในทุกๆเรื่องทุกๆปัญหาค่ะ
Perkenalkan, nama saya Mr. Abdullah Kari. Saya berasal dari Patadi, Thailand. Saya mahasiswa jurusan Pendidikan Agama Islam, Fakultas Ilmu Tarbiyah dan Keguruan, UIN Wali Songo Semarang. Saya senang kuliah di sini karena fasilitasnya lengkap, serta dosennya profesional, dan teman-teman mahasiswa juga ramah.
Mari bergabung bersama kami di Fakultas